What's up everybody, Derek Ting here. So today I want to talk to you about the new 16-inch MacBook Pro. All right, let's go. Okay, so I am super excited about the 16-inch MacBook Pro. Why? Because I think they've upgraded the ability in three main aspects. The RAM can now reach 64 gigabytes. The hard drive space can go up to 8 terabytes. And the video card finally has 8 gigs of video RAM. And that, I think, is the most important thing for the MacBook Pro. It actually allows us to do what you would normally only be able to do on your desktop. Okay, so I decided to buy it. I maxed it out, and for me, it makes the most sense. Why? Because traveling around with my feature film, I want to be able to have access to my version of the edit. I'm working with different people, but my version of the edit, and be able to, not bring it around with dongles, with separate hard drives. And that has been the biggest pain for me. So normally I have two 2 terabyte drives, and then I've added an additional 2 terabyte drive to manage all the data for my feature film. And with 6 terabytes in addition, let's say for example you have 2 terabytes of personal stuff, 6 terabytes of extra room, that is a huge game changer for me, because then I don't have to carry around these additional hard drives. And so even though it's a MacBook Pro and it's a laptop that you can bring around, what's been frustrating is that every time I shut down my computer, I have to detach 3 different hard drives and and then move to my next location. Or if I want to bring it out with me, I'm less inclined. With this type of setup, I am totally happy to bring out my MacBook Pro, thinking that maybe I'll need it on production, or I'll need it while I'm at a film shoot, and that's going to be huge. And I think so for me, all those things are well worth it. Now, what does that mean for you? Well, if you're a feature filmmaker, then I think it's really worth the money to invest in this type of laptop and max it out with the top video RAM, the top RAM, and also the maximum hard drive space. And of course, if you want to upgrade the processor, I think that's always going to help. But let's say, for example, you're only doing YouTube videos. I do want to talk about that. If you're only doing YouTube videos and you're shooting in HD in 2K res, then honestly, I don't think you actually even need this laptop. I think you could buy a 2018, and I was using my 2016 laptop up until now, and that had 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, and 4 gigabytes of video RAM. And that is completely sufficient to edit your videos and handle them. You can even have less than that. It's obviously, it gets slower and there's weaker performance, but you know what, honestly, like if you have to wait an extra minute for a render, it's not gonna be a big deal if you're only doing YouTube content or stuff that's not at the feature film level. Now, let's talk about if you are going to be doing you are going to be doing some of these short films, then of course I think the things that I would prioritize first are, I would prioritize the video RAM the most. For sure, I would get the 8 gigabytes of video RAM if you're editing, because that's going to help last you the longest in terms of this laptop being able to serve you well for film projects. Next, I would order probably some more regular RAM, 32 gigs, although honestly, 16 gigabytes has been plenty. But of course, if you have an editing project and you're trying to get into other applications, then I think you'll need additional RAM. So 32 gigs would be enough. Then I would get more storage space, and I think 4 terabytes would be good. It seems like at the 2 terabyte level, the value for $400 US more is not as enticing as, let's say, a 4 terabyte, and 4 terabyte would give you enough space. I think the 8 terabytes would be excessive for someone who, who's, for example, gonna carry around a larger hard drive. Maybe it's like 20 terabytes or whatever it is. I think 4 terabytes would be sufficient. And you know, in terms of the processor, I think, you know, that would be neck and neck with some of these. So maybe you would go more processor, less RAM, or you would go, you know, more processor, less storage space. These are the things you got to tailor to yourself to what you're going to order. But ultimately, even the base model, if you want to start out and you want to get a brand new laptop, you don't want to get one of the older models, I think the base model would be fantastic, even with 4 gigabytes of video RAM, and the processor and the RAM and 1 terabyte hard drive space. That's plenty if you're just starting out. If you're getting this for your kid, the base model I think is plenty for them to start out on and then grow with it. And you know, one of the other things too is, you know, as the price of the laptop gets more expensive, it does become more worrisome to bring it around. So you know, that's what I try to keep in mind. I've up until now have, you know, had this 2016 and I got it on sale. It was about $2,000 US, and it makes me much more comfortable to bring it around. But at this point in time with my work, the horsepower is limited. Now, the other balance is, you know, you're spending a lot of money if you're maxing out the laptop. For me, it makes sense because I work with other people, and I want to be flexible, and I travel. I'm in Hong Kong, I go to LA, I go to New York, and I want to be able to travel with my stuff. Least amount of stuff, carrying hard drives, and just have it all in one nice little laptop. So for me, it makes sense, but you know, you need to think about what your workflow is. If you're not always going to be bringing your laptop around, then this might not be the right setup for you. You might want to, if you're always at your home and you're editing and you're shooting around your house, then you know, the value would probably be more in a desktop, and go for the Mac Pro when it comes out in December. So I am super excited though, because this version of the MacBook Pro, I think, opens up endless possibilities for me to travel and do things on the road and not be hindered by not having enough horsepower or storage space. So that is super exciting, and I'll let you know how the performance is. You know, once I've received the laptop and like updated with all my stuff, I definitely want to update you on how well it goes. But until then, you know, hopefully this will help you make a buying decision. And definitely leave me a comment down below if you have some questions about what what the trade-offs are, or what you're going to go for or not. Okay, all right. Until next time, I hope you'll subscribe, and talk to you later. Thanks.